Hello, this is Jeremy ONeal with Advisorfix, and I want to welcome you to another weekly coaching video update for service advisors in the automotive repair industry. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Listen, we got a great video today for you, a lot of great content. This is one you're going to want to come back and listen to over and over again because there's a ton of amazing information in here for service advisors. All right, so here we are. 2019 is well underway. We're in about the third week of January. I had a little bit of a rough start to the year. I was sick, and man, I hardly ever get sick, but this one really hit me hard. Voice was gone, so if you've been missing a couple of the weekly updates, it's my fault, but hey, we're back on track now, ready to rock. So check this out. Today, we are going to meet with Chris Cloutier and Craig ONeal, two brilliant minds in the automotive repair industry who are helping shops take their digital sales process to the next level. And Chris, Craig, and myself, and the team over at AutoTextMe, we're forming a partnership. And what we're forming is this. We want to educate shops all across North America and help them understand how to blend in the right digital strategies to create an amazing client service experience with a digital sales process. So we want to help you master and own your own digital sales process. So it's not simply about texting or a DVI. There's a big picture, an entire customer service experience that if you execute it right will save you time, increase your revenue, increase your profits, but more importantly, guess what? It's gonna blow the doors off of your 5-star reviews. Now, you can check out our reviews at Freedom Auto Repair, and you're gonna find we're not perfect. Look, there are some 1-star reviews on there, but the majority of our content that we deliver to our clients is amazing, and that service, not content, I'm talking about the service experience. The majority of the service experiences that our customers receive from us here at Freedom Auto Repair is in that 5-star caliber. And we've grown it organically. So check it out at Freedom Auto Repair. You'll see what I'm talking about with that 5-star experience. And then we're going to help you understand how to choose the right digital process that works for your shop and your specific needs. And we're going to start by understanding how to manage and set the expectation for your customers. So we've got a great webinar that we did. We recorded it. We captured the thoughts. Some great content in there with the three of us going around. So you'll definitely want to stick around and check that out here in just a second. Now, I cannot believe what has happened. I've actually found one of the holy grails of auto repair. Now, a few years ago, a few decades ago, gosh, almost 30 years ago now, I remember I was sitting in a class in Southern California, and we were learning how to deal with phone price shoppers and a customer that calls in for a price on brakes. And then you ask the question, well, Mr. Customer, I'm just curious, how do you know you need brakes? And the customer says, well, I got a squeak coming from the front wheels. I need brakes. And we were taught, well, Mr. Customer, there's a number of things that can cause what you're describing. Why don't you bring it on down and let's take a look at it. You know, it could be simply some brake dust. It can actually be a rock stuck in the brake rotor or the caliper causing the noise. Back then, I kind of thought and said, now how many times has that actually happened to you, Jeremy? How many times have you actually taken the wheel off and found a freaking rock stuck in the brake caliper? I mean, sometimes, rare. It's kind of like the mythical Yeti. It's a beast that's out there, and I guess it exists. Well, guess what? I actually had it happen. 20-some years into my career, I found the mythical rock. Now, here's what's very interesting. This rock right here was actually stuck in a customer's wheel in between the brake pad and the rotor. And what's really cool is it polished it up really nice. I'll give you a close-up of it here in just a second. One of the things that we found is we actually had a car that was towed in and it wouldn't start. We couldn't test drive it before we did the repairs. So we do the final repairs, do our final road test, we don't hear anything. Customer leaves, comes right back. You know that boomerang effect that you absolutely hate as a service advisor? Comes right back and says, hey, check out that noise from the front wheel. We heard it a little bit, go and drive it again. Oh my gosh, it's there. Pull the wheel off and we found this. So it doesn't happen very often here in Southern California, but we had a lot of rain. Customer drove through a puddle and the rock literally got stuck between the brake pad and the rotor, and it would only squeal moving forward, and it didn't do it all the time. It's very interesting. So I'll show you that, so check that out. So here's my message to you. Why in the heck do I tell you that story? Well, because anytime a customer calls you with a specific concern, it is your job and your duty to help that customer understand the best way for you to help them is to have your ASE certified technicians perform a thorough assessment or a pinpoint test or a root cause analysis to determine what is causing their concern. Remember, the customer's focused on the component, but it's the root cause that we're really after. And here's the other thing. When you find these little nuggets, these little stones, these little broken bolts and little connectors that are bad, save them. make jewelry out of them, make necklaces out of them, because this rock is going to transform the way that we sell brake inspections here at Freedom Auto Repair. Because after all, you may not need a complete brake job. It could be something smaller that we could solve for you in a more cost-effective way, save you time, save you money. And that's really what you're after, isn't it, Mr. Customer? So save these rocks, show your customers, because that's proof that our inspections are worth every penny that we charge. Okay, so now let's get to it. Let's get to the interview with Chris Cloutier and Craig ONeal with AutoTextMe and Advisorfix, helping you understand the new digital sales process. I hope you enjoy it, and please send us your feedback. Let's check that video out now. All right, welcome everybody. This is Jeremy ONeal with Advisorfix. I want to say hello to everybody out there in the digital sales world. I want to welcome Chris Cloutier. Chris, how are you?
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going, man?
Awesome, man. Why don't you give everybody a little bit of your background, sir?
Yeah, my name is Chris Cloutier. You might have seen me on some other podcasts, but now I'm hanging with Jeremy here, one of my bros. Own a couple auto repair shops called Golden Rule Auto Care in Texas, and I also own a product called AutoTextMe, which actually kind of deals with the whole digital sales process. So I appreciate being invited in this conversation because I have some things to say as a shop owner and as a software developer about the digital sales process.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll see how that fits into my world as a service advisor, which I've been stuck in for like the last 6 months. You know, it's interesting to see where my job travels take me. You know, my responsibilities as owner of 2 companies as well, and then also being the front guy for Freedom Auto Repair. So awesome, Chris. Thank you so much, man. And I just love AutoTextMe and what Golden Rule Auto Care stands for, and really putting the customer first, not really being focused on that sale, but doing the right thing for the customer and then letting the sales naturally happen. And then as a service advisor, I got to tell you, when I use AutoTextMe, it saves me literally about a half hour to 2 hours a day just from not chasing those phone calls that are coming in. So we're going to talk about that. So awesome, man. Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you.
We also have my brother who spells his last name correctly.
Thank you. Hey, Jeremy. I joined Chris's team, of course, with AutoTextMe, and my background comes from our family business, ONeal's Transmission, here in Grand Rapids, and I joined up with a digital sales process about 3-4 years ago. We began doing that, and it was a big change for our business. But I called on my experience as a service advisor and technician as well, and was managing the shop there, wearing a few too many hats in those days. But it was a necessary thing to have a digital process in place to keep my sanity in check and really streamline our processes. So I care a lot about the process, and that's why I'm in this space now. So I'm really happy to be here. Which brings us to our first point. So, hey, let's talk about this. So with Advisorfix, and, you know, Chris and I have a long-standing relationship, and we really just love to sit down and talk about business life and, you know, changing the world. And I remember that challenge you threw out to me about 4 years ago, Chris. So I was looking to partner with another company that was like-minded with what Advisorfix teaches, and perfect fit for AutoTextMe. So Advisorfix and AutoTextMe this is like the very first journey together to partner to really help service advisors and shop owners understand what we've labeled as the digital sales process. Now, DVIs came out about 8 to 10 years ago. So the digital vehicle inspection is not new. Everybody has heard about them. Most shops have them. But I think there's a different layer to the digital sales process. And as I see society shift and move, where consumers are going to spend more of their dollars, you know, it's right here, right? It's right here on the cell phone. So I think it's important to help service advisors and shop owners understand what is the new digital sales process. And Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. So many things are changing, and we always hear about that when we go to these different conventions and expos about how this whole digital process is setting up and changing the world. So I think shops, a DVI, I've said it before, I think it's something that's absolutely a requirement. But I think, like you're talking about, shops need to understand it's just not about doing a digital inspection. I think there's so much more to that whole digital sales process that we really need to start explaining and getting out to shops. Filling out a DVI is only part of the process. There's a whole other multiple steps to making sure that you complete that whole process. So, and I'd say one of the first things that we need to discuss is just setting the expectations, right, of this digital sales process.
Absolutely. So let's ask Craig, because Craig, you've been on the front line. So Craig, I'd love to get your input on what is the great, Simon Sinek talks about start with why. And I love to go to that point of start with why. As a service advisor, you have to be on purpose. Yes, we're here to create sales. We're here to create gross profits, but there's a deeper meaning to it, right? Oh my gosh. How do you have
I know, right?
Here, hold the book up again so everybody can see it on camera.
No.
There we go. That was planned. You get the $100 bonus for being on right there. The deeper purpose of the digital sales process and a DVI, what does that mean to you? What's in it for the customer? How does the customer win?
Well, the customer's win is a superior education on the value of the product that we're selling them. I mean, a lot of what we do is invisible. And I was in the transmission industry during this entire time of all of my industry experience. We were merging into general repair. That's actually kind of how we got into it in the first place. I wanted to actually have an easy way to answer the question for my clients of, is this vehicle worth fixing, right? And because that's the transmission sale killer in Michigan all the time. And it isn't just like we can just go and start taking pictures of everything, though. If you start just trying to dive in and start showing pictures to your customers, any platform that you're using, you're not going to see the success right away unless you start, like Chris was saying, setting those expectations for that visit. We actually had to learn that, it isn't just about educating the customers about the product. It's about educating them on the process that they're going to go through in the shop. Because it's scary. We forget about this from a customer perspective. When you come into especially a transmission shop, you already are thinking this is going to be expensive. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know anything about this. I'm just used to oil changes and all this sort of thing. This is different, and I don't like it. And there goes my vacation money. But no. So when you lay out all of those expectations, you set the stage for a successful client visit. We're going to send you this report. We're going to go over it together, and this is what you can expect, and then deliver on those results. And that's what's going to get the viewership of those inspections that you later send them up. We have examples all the time of new clients will start with us, and they start doing inspections. And then we look at the reports and wait, these customers aren't viewing the inspections. And we dive in a little bit further, and we find out that the first text that they send that customer ever, or the first digital message or medium they send ever, is a message with a link for them to click, right? As consumers of internet goods these days, what are we conditioned to do with an unfamiliar link or an unfamiliar message?
Or delete it.
With a link. Do you click the link? No, you don't. Let them know it's coming.
It's interesting. So, and what I love where you're going with this is, as a consumer, I don't want my transaction with your shop to be an interruption in my day. It should be a natural part of my day and a flow that makes it easy for me to say yes. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So Craig, what you're seeing is when you enroll somebody and they start the journey down the DVI, if they're not focused on helping that client through the experience, then their focus can be on the wrong thing, and they're sending them at the wrong time and not getting the results that they really want.
Precisely. Yeah. If you go into it thinking all you care about is ARO or just getting more money for each car that comes in, now you've got your cart in front of the horse, or just your priorities are shifted, right? Your priority is to make that customer experience, that 5-star experience, like you say.
And I want to chime in here because I think a lot of shop owners have a misconception that using technology, Jeremy, actually takes away from that interaction with people.
Right.
And you hear this all the time. You'll hear somebody talk about how they saw 2 young millennials sitting at a table texting each other. If they love each other and that's the way they want to communicate, who's for us to say that's wrong? When letters came out, in cars came out, you can imagine all the people who said, "Oh my God, I'm never going to drive a car. My horse is reliable." So it's just a different form and medium. I think you're absolutely right that the why of the shop has to be there, and you have to understand that you're taking technology and you're actually leveraging it to make your process, like you said, a little more transparent. And I know this word gets thrown around a lot. It is trust. I am going to trust a digital inspection or some digital artifact that shows me exactly what's happening with my car. And if you say, hey, this hose is leaking, and you show me a couple seconds of a leak and I can see it's my car, I don't have to try and visualize what hose is leaking because I might not even know there's hoses in my car. I can see it. I trust you. I trust that that's the truth.
Exactly. And Chris, how many customers, and Craig, you've experienced this as well. How many customers, when you tell them your car has a leak, they go, oh, I didn't even know it had a leak. It doesn't even make it to the ground. So in their mind, I don't have a leak, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
Correct.
So let's go back and let's focus on setting the expectation. So one of the things I want our viewers to get out of this message is, first and foremost, all right, you've got to have your why. You've got to be on purpose. We're here to help our clients protect their investment in their vehicle, keep it running in the most affordable way. How we do that is, let's identify your timeline. What are your plans with the car? How long do you plan on doing it? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to manage the service experience. So we're going to set the expectations for today. What can you expect today? So let me ask you guys this. What is the average auto repair consumer's experience with a shop? What's the number one complaint that auto repair consumers have with an automotive repair shop?
Communication.
Communication. And that
Poor
they over
communication.
communicate, right? But they're calling them every 5 minutes, right?
Yeah,
No.
that's it. Yeah, I get there, I drop off my car at 8, and they've already called me at 8:05 to let me know that their car is being checked in. You're absolutely right, Jeremy. How do you, man? You read the same papers I do.
It's funny, but we've come across this pretty regularly. You could have a shop owner very eager to get a digital process in place, but then he has a service advisor that's literally scared to death of texting his customers because I don't want to over communicate with my customers, and this comes up a lot, and it's really surprising to me because, and I used to be that guy, right? Before I realized I needed to do this. My complaint coming into the shop was that we were difficult to get a hold of. Our service advisor ratio was poor. We had one guy to 4.5 technicians. And that's a tough load on any service advisor. It's just one line after the other all the time. And when you're just returning voicemails all day long, that takes forever. A text is so much faster. And
well, yeah. So with managing the client expectations, so service advisors out there, you have a role to play. You've got to explain to the customer how the transaction is going to happen. And remember, your words are promises. So whatever you tell that customer in initial drop-off, you've got to be able to deliver and back up. And I know we are all guilty of telling a customer, hey, Chris, I'll call you back at 1 o'clock. And then all of a sudden it's 3:45 and the phone rings, and it's that customer that you told them you'd call them at 1 and you didn't because you got 5 other interruptions and you were drug out to the shop and now you don't even know where you're doing. And now they're calling you to find out the status of their car. So understand this, to deliver a 5-star experience, you've got to eliminate every single incoming phone call that is about questioning the status of the vehicle. As a consumer, as soon as I pick up that phone and call your shop, it takes that transaction out of the 5-star status and drops it to a 4, 3, 2, or 1, simply because you didn't keep me updated. So number one, we've got to set the expectation of the client and let them know what's going to happen. So one of the questions you've got to ask your clients is, hey, Craig, is it okay to send you text messages today? Can I give you text update?
I'll tell you this, Jeremy, in the new shop in Wiley that we opened up in July, we've made it very clear to the customers that come in, and we're a little bit different than last owners. We're going to send you updates throughout the repair. We're going to also do the inspection.
You go ahead. I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Back up real quick. Say that again. You guys are
we
what?
do things a little bit differently than the old owners. We are going to keep you updated throughout the process. We're going to look at your car. We're going to send you a digital inspection. Now, at this point in time, we haven't told them how many text messages. We have our own internal KPIs that we want to hit. We want to make sure they get that check-in, that diagnosing, the servicing, and ready. There's a couple of key states that we want to try and communicate. And even if we don't the first time and they get a vehicle checked in and they get a ready for pickup, that's more communication that they've had at any shop in the area within the last forever, right? So there's minimal expectations that we're not saying, hey, we're going to send you 7 texts. Now, my other shop is very good about saying, hey, we're going to send you anywhere from 5 to 7 text message updates when a first customer comes in. Once again, we're setting expectations on the timeline. Very important. Hey, first-time customer, how long are you going to keep this car? Making sure that all the time that you're spending in that whole process, that doesn't change. The digital inspection is important if you're going to keep that car for 5 years. texting them and keeping that sticky and that process transparent is important to the customer. I'll tell you on the shop side too, something we've seen at both my shops is the reduction in phone calls. Like you said, we don't get calls asking for status updates. And that is a good thing for a service advisor who's sitting at the front counter, who's slammed all day long. Hopefully he's dealing with the things he needs to deal with, and that's selling the job to the customer, not taking important parts of his day away. Looking for
that's huge
status updates.
because there's a mindset as a service advisor. And if I know that I've communicated properly with my workflow today, and when that phone rings, there's a trigger that goes off emotionally inside of me as a service advisor. Number one, it's opportunity. It's a new customer looking for help, not a customer calling for a status. And everybody's done this. You look at the caller ID and it's that customer that you don't want to talk to because you don't have an update and you haven't communicated with them. What's the emotional makeup that I'm now gone to? Because that incoming call took me to a negative emotional place, it just derailed me for the entire day. So that's absolutely huge. So everybody else, I want you to do this. At 2 o'clock today, whatever day you watch this, I want you to stop doing everything. I want you to stand back at your shop, and I want you to wait about 5 minutes. And I want you to start to listen to the phone ringing. And if your shop has incoming calls asking about status, you got to make some changes. And I guarantee every shop across North America has that happening, right?
I agree. We've seen reduction in phone calls 50 to 60%. It's incredible. And that's total volume of calls all day. Giving your people time to do the job that you want them to do, I think it's important. We talk about tech efficiency all the time. You know, Jeremy, you've trained all my guys on phone skills and sales skills. I want them applying those skills, not, hey, let me disrupt my day and go get a status update, something I can easily solve within my day, right? And because are we tracking our front counter guys' efficiency and productivity? How many people track that, right? I don't know that anybody does, but we probably should.
Are you saying that we should have a KPI that tracks my GP per minute sold as a service advisor?
That's interesting. I don't know. You have it per day, so maybe we're there. We're there. And GP per minute might be too much. Sorry, I threw that out there.
GP per hour is no, but that's true. You know what they say for in success is find the one thing that you're good at and continue to do it over and over and over again, and get rid of the things that you're not good at or that you can delegate to a lower paid person. So absolutely great thought, Chris. You heard it here first. Service advisor gross profit per hour KPI.
Well, it's funny, but anybody who's been in a family business environment like mine, when dad or grandpa comes through the shop and they want to know what's on that, man, I wish I had a digital system in place 10, 15 years ago for that moment when they walk in and completely derail that service advisor for the next hour and a half while he brings them up to speed on every car in the shop.
Absolutely. All right, so we've talked about just getting set on purpose, getting your why together. We're going to be different than the traditional automotive repair experience, okay? Because most customers have had a negative auto repair experience. We're going to keep you completely in the loop. We're going to use a transparent repair process. Mr. Customer, is it okay if we send you text updates throughout the day? And as you start, you are going to feel some fear with just sending that. But trust me, as a consumer, if you send me a text with an update, it's better than me getting a phone call from you so I can get on with my life, okay? The next part of it is we're going to move into the DVI and explain what we're going to do. Now, here's the challenge. Most shops don't understand this, and most consumers have this negative response. After the car has been at the shop and you get a phone call from that service advisor, that consumer knows what's coming. What is coming after that initial, do you have a few minutes? Oh my gosh, here comes a sales presentation. And every consumer will shut down and go guarded. So what we want to do is enroll and engage the client into the digital vehicle inspection process and let them know what they're going to get. And then do we send the inspection out first and then follow it up with a phone call? So you've got some policies that you've got to figure out within your shop as to what's the best practice and what works for your demographic and your area. If you're in, for instance, Glendora, California, Southern California, is a little bit of a bedroom community. 10 years ago, it was really older clientele, and now you've got a younger demographic moving in. But if you have an older clientele and they're not as hip on text messaging and they don't want the DVI, you've got to change things around. But trust me, they're going to come around to it. So the shops have some policies to set up. So maybe we can end today's message with what should they work on first as far as that scripting to tell the customer, manage that expectation as to what's coming? What's the step one to letting that client know the DVI is coming? Chris?
I think just if you go through that whole timeline, if you're following Jeremy's sales process, right, and you're setting that expectation of, do you care about this car? I think that you're going to explain to them that the digital inspection that we're going to send you is going to be whatever inspection process that you have, whether it's 27.34 points. Hey, we're going to look for leaks. We're going to address your concern. We're going to look for maintenance items. Hey, we're going to have some pictures on here, and we're going to have some videos. And then make sure that you have those pictures and videos for that consumer to consume. If you send just text in your digital inspection, I think you lose the value of that picture. Picture's worth 1,000 words. A video's worth 100,000 words. So I think when you're talking to that consumer and they're at the counter, you've gone through, you've addressed that they want to keep the vehicle for a while. You're going to talk about your whole sales process of, once again, concern, any maintenance, any safety concerns. Hey, we're going to make sure that it's content rich of what we're delivering. And then you deliver it.
Awesome. Excellent. And then Craig, what can you do to help some of the service advisors out there who may have, some reservations as far as setting that expectation where they haven't really communicated properly with the customer as far as what's coming? And it's a shift because you're going to shift your time. You're going to manage your time better, but you're going to invest more time at the initial write-up. You're not just going to take the keys and say, hey, Chris, I'll call you, because that's what we've done for the last 100 years. What can we do to help them get rid of those reservations and start fresh?
Well, you need to believe in what you're doing, ultimately. I mean, and a lot of the service advisors I know out there don't consider themselves salesmen. And I was one of those too. I don't like the term sales. What we're really doing is we're managing that vehicle for our clients, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to communicate to them and set the expectation that the reason we do this inspection is so that we can make the proper recommendations for your vehicle. How can we advise and counsel, as our euphemisms for our role go, right? Service advisors, service counselors. This is requiring data. And if we have not inspected this car and our records indicate that that's not been done, right? And then we should begin with this. And then we'll have a conversation about what you should expect to budget for your vehicle for last year. The budget for the customer can start to streamline. You even have the potential to streamline the schedule for the shop. Are we a feast and famine industry, or are we, really good about exit schedule?
We like the feast here, so we like
No, it's a problem. Every shop across the country, they don't know what to expect for their workload. And how could you ever change that if you're not thoroughly inspecting your vehicles? That's what your goal should be, is to understand what opportunities are out there on that car that's coming to your shop. You're not going to get a better chance.
Absolutely. So Craig, what you're talking about is helping every customer create a customized maintenance and repair plan that's tailor fit for them and their car.
Yeah, you talked about this in your class. It's great.
It comes through. So here's what we're going to help you guys with. We're going to help you master the digital sales process. We're going to help you customize your scripts for how you want to say things at your shop. We're going to help you get the ins and outs from the data that we get at Advisorfix, at Freedom Auto, at Golden Rule Auto Care, and Auto Text Me. We're going to bring you inside information that isn't a sales pitch. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to help you understand and move into the next genre of consumer that is going to shift ultra fast and be ready for the next generation of sales, which is here today. Okay, so that's what our purpose is here. It's really to help you guys out and share with you the inside data that we bleed over. It's a rough job out here on the front lines, right, guys?
And Craig's not a sales guy, so you don't have to worry about us selling anything to you, right?
No, I will easily help you onboard stuff in the shop. I've done this multiple times in my own facility with multiple systems. And, there's a lot of strategies to do this right.
All right, well, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. I value your time, and I'm honored to be on this journey with you as far as discovering some of the newer things with the digital sales process and helping shops and service advisors master this space. Chris, any last parting words you want to share with the viewers on this part of setting the expectation?
I just want to say, hey, thanks, Jeremy, for going down this journey with us too. And for the shops, I've emphasized it over and over again. It's time. Be one of the first, because very soon you're going to be the last. And there's still a lot of opportunity out there to be in that front pack. So be first. What did Ricky Bobby say? If you're not first, you're last.
First, your last, baby. That's it. Nice. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for being here. Craig, any last parting words for our viewers?
Yeah, I just want to say for service advisors out there that think that this is something that you might not need, or think that you're a good phone skilled person, and probably you are. I considered myself the same. I gave a digital process a chance, and I was blown away at the results. So don't fall into that trap of thinking that you're as good as you can be. There's a better version of you, and there are systems in place that can help you do that. So give it a try.
Absolutely. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, man, great stuff. Thanks for your input. So for me, I think, what I've experienced this year, being in a shop, going back to the counter, it's easy to fall back into your old ways. And guys and gals, you're going to be successful because you're you. Your customers trust you. They like you. So you have a good client base. So what you're doing may work now, but I guarantee you, it's not going to always work in the future. We have to be open to change. One of the things I've learned this year is that I don't know everything. And it's always time to go back to the drawing board and stay current and relevant. Today's consumers change and shift on the fly, and it's going to continue to rapidly evolve. So we're here to help you. I want to thank everybody for your time and checking this out. So don't forget, check us out on Facebook, advisorfix.com, autotext.me, AUTOTEXT.me. You can get the links here on the video here. And join us next time as we dive deeper into the core components of a good, solid digital vehicle inspection to help you bridge that gap for your digital sales process. This is Jeremy with Advisorfix. Thanks for being here. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Craig.
See ya.
See ya.